I'll call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is the open meeting of the Seward, Nebraska governing body. The city is certified with the Nebraska Open Meetings Act in conducting business. A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is displayed on the north wall of this meeting room facility as required. Disclosure of meeting recording process is posted in the meeting room. A participant sign-in sheet is available for use by any citizen addressing the council. Presenters shall approach the podium, state their name and address for the clerk's record, and are asked to limit remarks to 5 minutes. All remarks shall be directed to the mayor, who shall determine by whom any appropriate response shall be made. The city of Seward reserves the right to adjust the order of items on this agenda if necessary, and may elect to take action on any of the items listed. Please call the roll.
Beck.
Here.
Coulterman.
Here.
Streisand.
Here.
Camper.
Here.
Singleton.
Here.
Hendricks.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Wilkins. Here.
All right, we have 2 items for the consent agenda this evening.
Approved. Second.
A motion and a second. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor: Wilkin, Beck, Camper, Coulterman, Miller, Singleton, Streisand, Hendricks. 8-0.
All right, first administrative item this evening is consideration of a claim from Catherine Krause, 709 North 4th Street for tree removal by Lincoln Tree Service. Greg?
Yeah, Ms. Krause pretty much lays it out. She had a tree in the yard in the house that they just purchased after they moved here. Is identified, at least by them, that they thought a number of dead branches. She had Lincoln Tree Service come out to look at the tree, and they said the whole tree needed to come down. I mean, tree services love trees, but they make money taking trees down. But nevertheless, after the tree had been removed, as she noted here, her neighbor mentioned that the tree belonged to the city because it was in the right of way. Because it's proximity to the street, and the city should pay to take care of its removal. She then we got her in contact somehow through the street department or administration to Bob Meyer, and he had said that he had it on his, she says schedule, but I talked to Bob. It was identified as something to go look at, but it wasn't like on the radar of the tree board yet, or it wasn't like a nuisance where every tree board meeting, we have a whole listing of trees that we get approved by the tree board. They go out and look at. Larry Goldsmith goes and takes a look at, and then they start taking those down. It hadn't even gotten to that point in the process. It was so down the line. He just knew that he had to go out and take a look at it. But he noted that it wasn't done, and he let her know if you still want the city to pay for it, the only other way to do it is to file a claim. And so that's what's happened here. That's her right to file a claim. I did talk to Kelly about this one, and we specifically have a city ordinance that says that you can't take down right-of-way trees without approval of the city. And so we can answer any questions you have about it. I think our recommendation would be probably to deny it, but we want to let the person have the opportunity to file the claim, because that is the process. And
I will go ahead and move to deny and forward to insurance.
well, that was the other thing is
That's
we can guarantee this isn't going to get covered by insurance too.
still, that's our proper.
Yeah, but this really isn't any act, any negligence on behalf of the city, so I wouldn't recommend forwarding it to the insurance at this time.
Even with the people being new and not knowing the process.
I mean, you can sure send it to them, and I don't think it's gonna go anywhere.
They're gonna send it and say, thank you for pushing paper through us, and we're sending it back denied.
But, I mean, at least we went through the steps.
I mean, that is the typical step for claims. This
Yeah.
isn't really a tort claim, though.
I'll keep my motion.
Okay, we have a motion to deny the claim and submit it to insurance. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion?
One more. If we send it to insurance, do we incur any additional cost?
No.
It's just more of a false sense of hope.
More deceiving.
Well, we don't, unless they call and ask about the claim, we don't tell them we forward it on to insurance. We just wait until the letter, they just get a letter that says EMC denied their claim.
Okay. Thank
I'm
you.
just saying they're gonna know we took action tonight to forward it to insurance.
Yeah,
And so that would be the only issue is,
Thank you.
yeah.
Sorry, Alyssa.
So, one question for
Yeah.
Kelly, is there an adverse consequence to forwarding it to insurance?
No,
For us?
that is our standard operating procedure, so we have insurance. Does it do anything to our rating? I can't answer that, I don't
Okay.
think it does.
This is just different in the sense that normally when we have a claim, it's because they're alleging the city had negligence or responsibility, like if we had, street sweeper one time, maybe shoot a rock into a window, or if we took a mailbox out with a plow, things that specific actions that we took that caused damage is normally what you see. This is just different because they paid for a service that they were then told the city could have potentially have covered, but we don't do the reimbursement, we actually take the action initially, which is why we would not recommend approving this at this time.
we also don't have any specific line item in the street department or otherwise to cover $4,000 in tree removal. It wasn't an electrical line, cause we do pay a tree service to do electrical work for us and go around and clear trees throughout the city, but again, also it wasn't an electrical line, there's just nowhere to like put this, so it'd just be just like a damage claim, just like anything else.
Just to cover all the bases, this is a violation of our code?
Yes, technically, to remove a street tree, a tree in the right of way, you actually have to contact the city first before you do it.
Is the city taking any action against this person?
They just moved here.
I'm
Ignorance,
just asking.
ignorance of the law is no excuse, as they say. But
And the
that's not a law.
situation's a little different in that it was a tree on our radar. So it is plausible that we could have also come to this conclusion, just the tree board never got that opportunity, so this kinda got the cart ahead of the horse
And it is our policy that it goes before a tree board meeting before.
for something.
Unless it's an emergency, you know, if there's a storm and something broke, it's tree split, then we just call it and rip it down
Okay.
for safety purposes. This hadn't even got to the point where it was on our radar that we thought it was a safety issue at this point even.
I think I covered all the bases.
Any other discussion? Seeing now we have a motion and a second, without further discussion, please register your vote. Please sway the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilken, Beck, Camper, Coulterman, Miller, Singleton, Streisand, Hendricks, 8-0.
Okay, item number 2, approval of professional engineer's recommendation to award a construction contract to General Excavating for the Carroll K. Box Culvert Project and authorization to enter into negotiations with General Excavating. City Engineer, Mike Onaby, welcome.
Good evening. So we had a bid opening, last, Tuesday at noon, overseen by the city clerk, Derek Barban. It was a very good bid. We had 4 bids. 2 of them were below the engineer's estimate. The low 2 were within 2% of each other, and just below the second one, the engineer's estimate, so a difference of only about $4,000. So it shows, I think, a good bidding climate, probably a return to a good bidding climate. So we're very happy about that. The highest bid, K2 Construction, has historically bid for city projects quite high, so this kind of is in keeping. They'll snag a project here or there when there's no other bidders. So it seems altogether very normal. We had the engineer of record that designed the project, Schemmer, review the bids. They recommended the low bid, which is number 4 on that list. And so I concur with the engineer's recommendation that we award this project to General Excavating from Lincoln, Nebraska in the amount of $243,862. So again, this is the project. This is cutting off 4 feet of the existing box culvert on Carroll K, just across from the Legion Field, and extending that out, putting in an energy dissipating drop structure, reconnecting some storm sewer. So it's a significant amount of concrete work, somewhat intricate for $243,000. It should give us a permanent solution and security for that crossing of that tributary.
Thanks, Mike. Any questions for Mike?
I'd just say if you really wanna see the power of water and stormwater in the city, go take a look at this project before we get started. And go look on the stream side, the outfall side of that culvert, and you'll see what can happen when we don't take care of these things and why we do need to take care of them. It's a great example of that.
And if you actually crawl all the way down, and there's a concrete shelf, and if you take a flashlight and peer up, the force of the scour has already undermined the wing walls of the box cover, which is why you have to cut 4 feet off. So anyway, while it's still dry, it's comfortable to go down there and see. So.
Nothing living under there?
No guarantees on that.
No eyes peering out when I was looking in.
Any other questions? If not, entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the recommendation for general excavating.
Second.
The motion is second, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilken, Beck, Camper, Copeland, Miller, Singleton, Streisand, Hendricks, 8-0.
Item number 3, approve the request for qualifications for the Seward interior drainage and pump station improvements project and authorize the city to seek written statement of qualifications for final design services. Mike?
Hello, so you have in front of you a 5-page request for qualifications. So this is the method that we use to select a firm for architectural engineering services. So we don't, by state law, we don't do this on a pure cost basis. But we do have checks throughout the process in terms of level of effort. And so we understand roughly what the cost is going to be and have some competition. But essentially what we're looking for is we're looking for a design engineer for a new pump station across the levee, a larger outfall pipe as well. And we've had JEO Consulting do a lot of all the engineering work up to this date. Due to how the funding is structured, we cannot hire that firm to be the design engineer, so we're using this process to select a different firm. JEO Consulting will be the owner's representative, our city's representative through that design process. So it's an Army Corps of Engineer levy. There's a lot of permitting that's required, a lot of oversight. We've already contacted 4 engineering firms that have expressed interest. So upon approval, we will submit this to those 4. We'll advertise it for 3 successive weeks in the Seward Independent to allow any other potential bidders with any interest to also submit a statement of qualifications. And so this will be a first step in a multi-step process, very similar but somewhat truncated to how we selected the design engineer for the wastewater plant. It was a much larger project. I don't think we're gonna get into as much detail on that.
Thanks, Mike. Any questions for Mike? Yes, John?
Is that gonna be designed for 100 year or 500?
Oh, I don't have that number with me, I'm so sorry, John. I don't know.
Because that's pretty important.
Whatever is required, so
Yeah.
I believe that's dictated by the Corps of Engineers, so
Yeah.
we simply have to follow along, so.
I just wanna make sure that we're working with that so we don't find out later that we only build it for this versus.
Well, it's technically on the inside.
I know.
So it's not built for 100 and 500. Nothing in the city's built for 100 and 500 year storm event. The internal system is built for storm events. And so this will be built to expel water from the interior of the city out. And so it would be built to a certain storm event size, not flooding size.
Okay.
So at the point that we're flooding, that means something failed.
Yeah.
So, but this is to automate it and then also to increase the safety features of it. Right now, if we're actively involved in the process or pumping water out because we're having interior flooding, if those pumps are on, the gate closure is directly below the pumps. And that's not where you want to put a gate closure. And so just a complete redesign of that. It's kind of the mentality that's built into this and the safety elements. And then the biggest one will be the automation. It will automatically turn on and ping the street department responsible for it. It's probably gonna be the street superintendent. That's why Bob is one of the main people involved in this. But it'll ping him, and then obviously we'll still have them go out there and make sure it is running and operating the way it's supposed to be, but it will get us started a little faster so that we don't have so much buildup going into the back end of it. So the other one that's involved in this is there's no guarantee with us getting the design done that we will complete the project, at least as designed, because they will have to complete a cost benefit analysis for FEMA after they complete the design. And once they do that, based on that cost benefit analysis, if it doesn't meet a certain threshold, they won't proceed with the project. So we'll have fancy plans for something that we don't have grant funds for. That was the risk. So our hope is that that cost benefit analysis that was initially done to get us the grant will hold up when this is designed, so.
Are you through the Corps of Engineers already? Or
No,
you started
we're not
the
through
process
anything
yet?
yet. So, but we also need to have JEO involved in this, just for some oversight, because this is an element of the levy, and then Michael Bash and JEO will finish the levy accreditation as this completes itself. But he has to ensure that we can accredit this project. So, that's why we have him coming in for just oversight, and just here and there pop in to look at plans and things like that, so.
So they're gonna inspect the whole levy before,
We inspect the levy every year. We just, Bob just recently did it with the Corps of Engineers again. But JEO will do all the final, there's some freeboard we'll need to add in a few little spots and all of those projects. The project that we've talked to Matt about, with the closure outside of Hughes Brothers, we'll finish up some of those projects with JEO and then get our certifications for all of them and be accredited and move on.
will that include that vegetation and that where the south of town by the old Orsolins where we had the problems with the what was that?
That's not part of the
That's
levy
not part
system.
of that?
That's not even a recognized levy,
Right, okay.
only on the north side.
Any other questions for Mike? If not, entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve. I second that.
We have a motion and a second, any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes, please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilken, Beck, Camperth, Colterman, Miller, Singleton, Streisand, Hendricks, 8-0.
Alright, thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Item 4, consideration of a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign the annual year-end certification of city street superintendent.
Move to approve.
Second.
We don't care what you think.
It's fine.
Did you wanna talk about
We have a
it?
motion and a
How
second.
things go now.
Greg, you wanna add anything?
No, just note that we just,
Oh, it's a motion, it's a resolution, isn't it?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, back up.
yeah,
Greg.
somebody's gotta introduce it
Go
first,
first,
right?
Greg.
I'll introduce the resolution.
Alright,
This is our certifications, we'll note on the next one, this needs to be signed by our, highway superintendent. Our designated superintendent as of now is still Julie Ogden with JEO, so. That's all.
would you like to introduce the resolution?
Yeah.
Alright, the resolution has been introduced. And is designated as resolution number 2022-30. Would anyone like to move that this resolution be passed and adopted?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilken, Beck, Camperth, Colterman, Miller, Singleton, Streisand, Hendricks, 8-0.
And that covers 4 and A, I think. It covers 4 and
Do
No,
we wanna do a separate?
yeah, we need to designate.
A. Okay, so, under 4A, designate Julie A. Ogden, JEO's Consulting Group Incorporated, as consultant to the city of Seward as a Class A city street superintendent, for NDOT program requirements and incentive payments effective January 1, 2023. I believe this just requires a simple motion. Unless there's any comments or questions.
The reason why she was hired was because she stepped in for Jake when we had Jake, right? Cause Jake was our,
Jake was not a street superintendent. It was when Mel left. We did this when Mel left, retired.
Because nobody was certified.
Nope. And so we've discussed having, Bob's been trying to go through the process, it's very intensive, but we have discussed with Mike. Technically, Mike as an engineer can just go get it. Like, here's my fee, give me this certification. But we've been discussing that back and forth between Mike and Bob. So we might proceed to do that in the coming year. But to make sure we're covered and receive our incentive payments, we have to certify somebody. She has the license, and so Julie does that for us, reviews our stuff, extra set of eyes, so.
How much does she cost?
I think it's only a few $100s a year.
Yes, on an as-needed, so she reviews the 1 and 6 on an annual basis, she'll do a few other things. I suspect it's under $1,000. She's very good, she knows Seward very well. So it's consistency and constancy in having her for the company.
You just don't wanna get it, Mike.
No, I'd be happy, I'd certainly be happy to.
yeah.
I'm teasing, Mike, you're
No,
fine,
that's okay.
as you sing her praises. This, on item 4A, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Your motion and a second, any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilken, Beck, Camperth, Coulterman, Miller, Singleton, Streisand, Hendricks, 8-0.
Alright, item 5, consideration to approve the amended injury and illness prevention program plan. Derek, is that you?
Yes, it is. Somebody's trying to call me right when you said that. So most of you probably aren't aware that we have a illness injury prevention plan. The one that we had currently was implemented in 1993, and that was based on our compliance with the state statutes as listed in there. So when we're looking at things through the safety committee and trying to update things and modernize things, and we started looking at this document and noticed that it was pretty outdated, so we thought to ourselves, well, we should probably get on making it a little more up to date. So I worked with the safety committee, who's comprised of employees with the city, you know, half from the management side and then half from the employee side. And we worked on it for months and kind of went back and forth, and this is what we came up with. And basically it just kind of lets the reader know how we will take steps to create a safe workplace culture at the city. We have a city safety manual that kind of identifies specific tasks, such as like starting a chainsaw, how you should do that, how you should be safe. That's a separate document. This one just kind of gives a general idea of how we're going to create a safe workplace culture and how the employees can be a part of it. So this is what we came up with, and the safety committee looked at their October 20th meeting, and they approved it unanimously. So we're just asking for your approval tonight, and we'll move it forward, and it'll be in place, and hopefully it won't take us like 30 years to look at it again. Hopefully we'll keep it a little more up to date. That's about all with that.
Any questions or comments for Derek? If not, entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes, please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilken, Beck, Camperth, Coulterman, Miller, Singleton, Streisand, Hendricks, 8-0.
Alright, item number 6 is update on the wellness center.
Yes, we're in the process of setting up interviews for the final design firm. I have a number of people on that committee to do it, and as I answered Councilmember Coulterman's question this morning, it's been like herding cats this fall. So I think what we're gonna do is pick dates that I can align the 3 firms to get them in a row, and then I'm just gonna say, here's the dates, and you guys pick one of them, whichever one we can get. We'll take the most. If you want to assign some other people to come in and sit on those interviews because you can't come, we might do that, but we have to get this done. We can't wait any longer. We gotta keep this thing moving. So we do have another grant opportunity that's gonna come in and meet with us at the end of this week, and then look to give us an award for that. And so we're just doing the final interview for that grant opportunity, so that's pretty exciting. Other than that, just trying to take care of some other things, but really it's getting these interviews lined up, so.
What's the funding situation right now? Where are you at?
They're probably just north of 7 million on the private side. So with that 200,000 or so from the Ackley Foundation, that's probably pretty close. I'd have to go look at the final numbers. The other thing I noted, we'll have more cash in hand. I did talk to Shane Bach the other day, and he noted that a lot of the people that had considered giving over 5 years ended up giving their entire award upfront. So we're going to be, in regards to the 5-year cycle for cash flows for the capital side, we're going to actually be ahead of that schedule a little bit, which will help on the bonding and some other things when we get into that. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
Any questions for Greg? If not, go on to your report.
Just kind of winding down, the fiscal year's over. We're going to be entering audit this month and going into that, so that's what Nick's taking care of. I would note our wastewater superintendent, Tim Ridgestig, is out for an extensive period of time with some medical issues. You can follow with me if you want more specifics on that, but keep thinking of him. His crew's been doing great. We follow up with them, me and Mike, and work with them to make sure that they're covered while he's gone, and it's kind of going to be an extended absence. So that one's been kind of a big issue for us lately. See if I got anything else that I'd put on mine. Those are kind of the big ones. We'll have some follow-up for you on Special Olympics here shortly. So Adam's preparing a report from all the meetings we've had with them. We think we have a path that you can consider. We don't know if we have any specifics on what we'd recommend, but we do have a path and potentially a person to help lead that programming if we were to undertake that. So once Adam gets that in, he's also got some medical stuff going on right now. So it's kind of hit all at once with a lot of people being out. So I can answer any specific questions you have about anything in the report.
Otherwise, entertain a motion to accept the report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilken, Beck, Camper, Coulterman, Miller, Singleton, Streisand, Hendricks, 8-0.
If you have any future requests for council agenda items or administrative action?
I do. The storm drain box, I don't know if that's what it's called, but on Columbia and 34, it looks like it's either deteriorating or somebody drove over the top of
I
it.
think somebody drove over
Kinda
the top
rough
of it.
through there. There is a storm lid on South Fifth and Ash on the west side of the street that has been, like, I don't know, it needs to be covered. There's kids in that area. and I'm
Is
sure
it
it's
gone?
No, it's not gone, it's just been moved, pushed up for several
Okay.
weeks. And then your
If anybody sees like a storm sewer cover that's up, like call that in immediately, because this is a safety issue. Because if you step on them when they're tipped like that, you'll go down.
Yeah,
So if anybody sees that, it's a safety issue, so let us know immediately.
and then your lights still on Second Street from Jackson to Seward are out.
Still?
They were as of last night, south.
Okay.
I only know because I take it home every night, and it was pretty dark through there, so there was no lights on east or west, and there's only two on that street. Other than that, that's all I got for you.
Anyone else? Seeing no other requests? Jonathan Jang, welcome.
Yes, thank you,
Upcoming
Mayor.
events?
Thanks. Monday, November 21st is our organization's quarterly board meeting. We'll be approving both our annual budget and upcoming multi-year strategic plan. Also, our annual membership campaign is underway, and things are going well. Saturday, November 26th, 12th annual Seward Christmas Festival. Lots of fun for the whole family. Event schedule and local holiday calendar are out, so you can find them via Buzz and other places on social channels. We are getting hard copies printed, so when you see them, please pass them far and wide. And then also, please shop local this holiday season. Illuminate Seward update. Things are going well. Again, thanks for the city's leadership to get City Hall started. This week we're installing 9 buildings. So you may see some of the lifts outside. I sent out an email last week to try to keep people up to date. Appreciate partnership with Bob and Mindy and others that are helping support it. Just make sure we're trying to communicate as much as possible. And so if you have any questions, know that's what's going on. And actually, since I sent out that email, I think we have 5 more buildings that have stepped up since then to say, hey, we wanna do this. So we're excited to see that continue to move forward. Lastly, sad to say that Leanne Miller is leaving our team. She got a job offer in Lincoln, and so we're happy for her, but sad for us. So we have an opening for our Director of Marketing and Storytelling with our organization. Would ask that you would please pass that far and wide. We want to find the next great team member for the chamber to continue to move our organization forward. So with that, that's all I have. Thanks, Mayor.
Alright, thanks, Jonathan.
I got
Yes.
one more quick thing. I'll just note, we do have half of the candidates that are running. After the election, we're gonna have 3 new council members no matter what. We do a new council orientation. The only one we've ever done that I've been here for was Alyssa, but some of you may have done it when you came online. And so Derek and I we're in the process of updating that and revamping it, making sure, but it will have the process of how to sign them up for their email system and how to get on the email and all the other things that we covered. But since we have half,
they take swabs. It's like a 4-hour
There's
event.
no, it's semi-painless. There's a little pain involved, but just as a reminder, the council members that had done that a while ago, if they were involved in that, we'll be doing that again with three new council members, no matter what. So that will happen between now and sometime in that first meeting in December. So once we get through the election. So there you go.
John, did email exist when you got on?
No. We had this big book, and everything was paper copy.
So with that, is there a strategy session?
Is everybody included on this one?
Yeah, you shouldn't have Jonathan on there.
Okay, I move that the city council go into closed session with the mayor, city administrator, city attorney, and the city clerk for the protection of the public interest and to discuss real estate interests and to provide city attorney with negotiating guidance for a period not to exceed 30 minutes.
All right, we have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilken, Beck, Kimber, Miller, Singleton, Streisand, Hendricks, 8-0.
The council has voted to go into closed session for the protection of the public interest, to discuss real estate interests, to provide the city attorney with negotiating guidance. We are now in closed session. Thank you, everyone.